Hey there, Floralpreneurs. Welcome to the last week of April. It's Alison, Ellis here of realflowerbusiness.com with my last week of newbie tips. This may even be the last day of newbie tips. We'll see. I might try to come back on again this week with something else, but this is not a question, although it kind of is a question. I've seen a few questions that are related to my topic today, but this isn't like the last few weeks where I'm going to read. I don't even have my computer open. This is really something I want to just in a heartfelt way address branding for your business. I sent out an email today to people on my email list to invite you to this chat, and I said it's not just for newbies. So this is really not just for newbies. Branding is what I want to talk about because it's something that I think people fall into a trap on branding. So that's why I want to talk about it. How do you build your brand? What does it mean to have a good brand? New businesses. Now this is a little bit of just my observation over years now, like I don't know, maybe 5 years of having a pretty prolific Facebook group where people talk a lot, share advice, ask questions, share their problems, their struggles, right? And branding is often right at the heart of a lot of these conversations, but it's the wrong kind of branding. So I want to try to keep this from turning into a rant. I was like, don't rant. We're going to just educate and talk. We're not going to rant. But people have branding all twisted. All right. So that's what I want to talk about today. If you have a friend who needs some branding help, maybe tag them in a comment or get them into this chat somehow, or share the replay. But here's the thing, branding your new business. Branding is what people say about your business when you're not in the room. It's what you deliver to your customers, right? So that is what branding is. And I want to make sure people understand the difference between branding and marketing. I share about this in my Patreon subscription group. If you're a Patreon member, you have access to these videos. I did a video where I really broke down the difference between the two and how you can start to identify it in your own business, in your own life. But I heard somebody say it so concisely the other day, and I was like, this is perfect. So branding is what other people say about you when you're not in the room, right? Marketing is what you say about yourself. And so what I think happens way too much when people are asking these branding questions is they're thinking of branding as marketing. They're thinking what they really mean to say is, this is not in line with, they say this is not in line with my branding, but what they mean is this is not in line with what I want people to think about me. We don't have control over what people say about us when we're not in the room, right? That's what your brand really is. I just want to make sure you feel that in your toes for the purposes of this conversation, because branding is not, I have 10,000 Instagram followers, right? Which, by the way, I don't. I don't have 10,000 Instagram followers. But what I do have is people who will tell other people, right, that they tuned into my newbie tips and they really found them helpful and you should tune into them too. Or, oh, I took Alison's flower math course and it helped my business, right? That's my brand. It's what people are telling other people about their interactions with me and my business. I can tell you anything I want about my business. That's my marketing. Doesn't necessarily mean it's true. It doesn't necessarily mean people are believing it, right? So that's why you really do want to focus on building a solid brand, but people are going about it the wrong way. And just to cut right through the fat and get straight to what I mean by that is they're doing it at the cost of customer service. People are confusing my branding with treating customers poorly. Full stop. That is what is happening. So I think it is part of Instagram culture, as I sit here on the Instagram, right? But it is this idea that what I am putting out there to the world matters more than my paying customers. So here's really what it comes down to. Your brand, if you have a good brand, you don't have to do, so here's how I want to put it. People who make these mistakes and think that their brand is something, right? They're like, this is against my branding. All right, here's a great example. And I don't want to pick on this particular florist because it was such an innocent, genuine question. But she said, I have a customer who wants to put pictures of her grandparents on the bouquet. If you're in my Facebook group, you probably saw this. I don't know how to tell her that I can't do that because this is not in line with my branding. Now, I want to cut straight to the chase here. She didn't know that there are these cute little lockets that you can tie on to the handle of the bouquet. Okay, so once she knew that, she was like, okay, cool, I'll do it. What she was imagining is something like a preschool art where there were like pictures on popsicle sticks of grandparents in the bouquet, right? So I say that quickly because I know if you're like me, you're like, what? Of course you're gonna put the pictures on, right? So this is an example though, right? Where someone just didn't know that there's an easy way to do this. But the question was very clearly, this is not in line with my branding. Now, you don't have to be in floristry for too long to have had a request to hang charms of family members on a bouquet. So I'm gonna just take a leap and guess that the person who asked this question is kind of new. So this newer person is saying, this is not in line with my branding, and not really understanding that she was like this close to seriously offending her client and not fulfilling their wish for no reason, right? Other than selfishness. Again, I'm not picking on this particular florist. I know that this was genuinely like, oh, great, I'll do that then. I didn't know. She was picturing something horrendous, okay? When you think about the grandparents on little popsicle sticks, it does kind of sound hilarious, right? These kinds of questions come up too much. Okay, another one in my group. Again, I'm gonna pick on the group. Acrylic box with fake flowers in it. Well, I think she's getting into a fight with her client. The client is very upset because she's like, this is not, I have an exclusivity clause. Okay, so this is how branding with the wrong point of view manifests itself in exclusivity clauses that force you to have an argument with your customer because you don't want them to have, this acrylic box with fake flowers in it because it reflects poorly on you. Okay? These are mistakes that people are making. So whether you are a newbie or you are a not newbie, this is really, really critical to get through our heads right now. All right? Really, really critical. Because if you really have good branding, meaning people talk about you in a way that expresses that you are worth it, that you are talented, that you are great to work with, that you are the person to go to, you don't need the exclusivity clause, right? Because I don't have people coming to me and saying, oh, we're gonna bring in another florist for this, or oh, we're gonna bring in garlands from Costco for that. That's not my customer, right? Because my branding, not my marketing, not what I tell them about me, what they hear about me brings in the right customer who's not looking to piecemeal their wedding together, right? And so if you're sitting here saying, it's not in line with my branding, again, I don't want to be ranty and I'm not trying to be mean. You guys know I'm very nice. But here's the deal. Your branding's no good if what you're attracting are clients whose taste level is below what you want to put out for your marketing. Again, not your branding, your marketing. So if you don't want to share it in your marketing, don't share it in your marketing. But branding, the bottom line is you need customers. You need paying customers. And so if someone's coming to you and paying you and they want this element of their wedding that doesn't have anything to do with you, right? It doesn't actually reflect on your business in any way, but you have an exclusivity clause. What's your why, right? What's your intention? The intention should always be to have great branding, which means customers say great things about you. They don't say things like, well, a month before the wedding, I had to get into a fight with her because she told us my bride, right, or whatever, my partner couldn't have what they wanted for the wedding, and it was outrageous. Okay? That's not good branding. Not good branding. So here's this is what occurred to me. This bring you deep into my mind. This is what occurred to me as I was thinking about a little bit about what I wanted to say today. It's like, do you remember the Fresh Prince? Not the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Fresh Prince, parents just don't understand, right? He takes the car out for a joyride. It's a problem. If you don't know it, remind yourself. But in Parents Just Don't Understand, he says, come on, Mom, you're ruining my rep. She says, you're only 16. You haven't got a rep yet, right? That is deep into my mind. That is what came up, because that's what it is. If you've got people coming to you with stuff that's below your brand level, but below your taste level, you're only 16. You haven't got a brand yet, right? You don't have that rep yet that's bringing in the level of clientele that you want to purport in your marketing that you serve, right? We serve clients like this, except my actual customers want to bring in Costco garlands and acrylic boxes, and this is against my rules and my branding, okay? So all this is to say, yes, there are reasons why you might want to have an exclusivity clause, right? If you're hiring me, you're hiring only me that day. It's reasonable. However, you have to be knowing that you're bringing in customers who are focused on that. If what you're really bringing in, if what you're really working on are weddings where clients just want to get personal flowers from you and they want to do their own centerpieces, having that exclusivity clause because somebody told you need to protect your branding is a mistake, because you're turning away work. Work is more important than branding. You're not going to hear other people saying that. You're going to hear other people tell you how everything should match, how your, like even your highlight reels, right, should be in your brand colors. Even what you're wearing on your live stream, right, should match your brand. Everything should match. That's marketing. That matters far less than actually having paying customers that like what you do, that appreciate your work, and that are willing to tell other people what a great job you did. So that's when you're doing good branding. When you are actually attracting good customers who are willing to pay you, that's when your brand is good. And then that's when maybe you can level up and start having some distinction, right? I don't do this. I don't do that. We have a minimum of X, right? That's when you can start to do those things. But please don't make the mistake of, misunderstanding what branding is. It's out of your control. It's what you actually deliver and what people say about what you delivered. And so things that are not in line with your branding, what you really mean is that's not in line with how I market my business, with how I want people to think about my business. And we can do and say whatever we want about our business. But unless other people say it too and believe it too, it doesn't matter. You could say whatever you want. It doesn't make it true, right? So really, really, really want to make sure that you are crystal clear, whether you are brandy new or you are an oldie but goodie. We have to care about the customer more than our marketing. If you want to turn a profit in your business, you are sometimes going to have to take things that don't suit your branding, all right? It's like an overload of air quotes today, but I mean them all. Because again, if you're only 16, you haven't got a wrap yet, then why are you going to hinder your business growth because you're not booking clients and making money so that you can get to that next level? There's no such thing as if I only put out great pictures of my work, that's the only work I will attract. There is a law of attraction when it comes to marketing, and I believe in it wholeheartedly, but it isn't a matter of where you can just sort of like elbow your way to the front and be like, well, if I just put out good looking images, I've got a good brand. It's not until other people talk about your business in an elevated way that you've got a good brand. So Scott from the Flower Podcast had Sean Lowe on his podcast recently. I highly recommend listening to it. It's a great episode. And Sean used to be, if you don't know him, you should definitely follow him, Business of Being Creative. And what he used to be Preston Bailey's business manager. So I found, of course, I think everyone hears different things when you listen to a podcast, right? And what I found interesting, what I heard, right, is in comes Sean to help Preston, who's, famous floral designer, who had no money. He had no money, he had negative money. And I want you to listen to that episode, and I want you to think about that aspect. And maybe that's what everybody thinks about. Maybe everyone's like, wow, right? But maybe other people are just like Preston Bailey, because you're thinking again about the branding, the marketing, the wow. But what's really happening is he had no money. He had a reputation. He had people, I don't know exactly what people said about him, right? But what we knew, what I learned when I first saw him on Oprah, right? I don't know if that's where you first saw him. That's where I first saw him. Is, wow, look at this, right? Wow. Ooh la la. But meanwhile, behind the scenes, he has no money. So that's what I want you guys to really focus on. Don't be turning customers away because it doesn't fit some aesthetic or some ideal in your mind that isn't even attainable yet for you. Book clients, do work, build a portfolio, show what you're really doing, talk about what you really are actually doing in real life in your marketing, put out the real stuff you're doing in your marketing, but don't get this incorrect idea in your head that you should be discerning about the kind of work you take when you haven't even booked any work yet. Because you don't want to end up with a great Instagram feed and no money in the bank, right? So this is not something you're going to hear a lot of people telling you. They're going to tell you, make sure you curate, make sure everything matches. Again, make sure everything's in your brand color. That matters so much less than the way you actually treat clients. So when a client comes to you and says, can you put pictures of my grandparents on the bouquet? Yes, I would be happy to incorporate what matters to you. When a client says, so this happened to me. Here, I'm gonna give you real examples of why I don't actually even have an exclusivity clause. So I have a contract for florists. It's available on my website at realflowerbusiness.com. If you don't have a contract, it is the most affordable way to get started. You're still gonna wanna take it to a lawyer, by the way. Any contract you buy online, please take to a local lawyer. I talk about the exclusivity clause though in there, even though I don't have one, because I know people are fascinated with it, right? They wanna be exclusive. What matters to me more is that you meet my minimum. The exclusivity clause a lot of times is there because we don't want people to back things out. We don't want them to just take off all the tables and they're gonna do them themselves. So I set a minimum, and that's how it doesn't matter then if you wanna reuse the flowers from the rehearsal dinner the night before, it's your wedding. It's not my wedding. It doesn't reflect on my brand. I don't care if I'm in the minority of people who, have a platform and talk about this stuff. I'm being truthful with you. It doesn't reflect on my brand if you want to use last night's flowers for your wedding. I can tell you that I don't think it's going to match, right? I can advise you as much as I want, but I am not going to forbid it. I grew up in flower shops, right? I'm a real life florist. I believe in serving the customer, selling the flowers, doing the work. I don't believe it's about me. And again, big mistake that newbies are making. It's like me, my reputation. It's not. Nobody cares about you with so much love and peace and respect. They don't. What they care about is their event, what they want for their event, and that you are treating them respectfully, you are hearing them, and that you're going to actually deliver the vision that they want. It's not up for me to say, if you didn't buy it from me, you can't have it on your wedding day. Would it ideally be that they don't have flowers that are from the rehearsal dinner? Yeah, maybe, right? Maybe. But again, because I have been doing this for this is my 19th wedding season working for myself, right? Self-employed for 19 years. I know of what I speak, right? I'm not just somebody who doesn't actually do the work, doesn't actually attract the clients, doesn't actually make this stuff happen in real life. I do. And so because I do in real life run a business for 19 wedding seasons, I can tell you that it is so much more important for the customer to trust you, believe you, and walk into the wedding day ready to like what you're doing, right? You don't want them having a crappy feeling about you. That's really the bottom line. You don't want them having a feeling where they're thinking about that argument you had over the acrylic box with the fake flowers in it, right? Because it doesn't have anything to do with you, but it left a bad taste in their mouth. And now it's going to be, even if you deliver exactly what you promised, it's harder for you to make that customer happy. It's harder for you to build your brand with customers that are already having a meh feeling about you. So we want to make sure we're wowing customers all along. And that means, yes, we do need to have rules sometimes, but it means not being, again, peace and love, a jerk. If they want to have one thing, right, that their grandmother bought for the rehearsal dinner at the wedding, right? Well, I have an exclusivity contract. Please get a hold of yourself. Please get a hold of yourself and recognize that it is not about you. It is not your wedding day. You are here to serve. And so if we can come from the we are here to serve mindset, that's how you can build a good brand, because that's what customers will respond to. So let me give you some real life examples of why I don't have an exclusivity clause, or maybe not why, but where an exclusivity clause would have been a problem, right? So most recently, I'll go with my most recent one. I was doing a wedding with a planner who's a friend of mine, lovely couple, very easy wedding, very, very, very low maintenance. They wanted to buy their own garlands for, I forget what it was. Who cares? 10 poles. Is that okay? The planner said, is that okay? I said, sure. Here's why. I already had another wedding that day. I'm not actually looking to make 150 freaking feet of garland. I'm not looking to store 150 freaking feet of garland when I've already got another wedding. I've got that cooler space accounted for already, right? And so because I'm not worried about me, I don't have to worry about my exclusivity clause because I don't have it. So sure, you can bring in those garlands. And then, well, they're going to hang them themselves. Is that okay? No, I'll hang your garlands. I will. Yes, I will. Yeah, with a smile on my face. You know why? Because you paid me for delivery, because I'm here for the day, because I'm going to charge you for the time, and because I am not walking out of here with my customer having to do work, even though she didn't buy the garlands from me, right? Period. Why? Why would I do that? Because that's my brand. It's my decision. It's my choice. I'm here to serve the customer. And I said it's okay. I approved this message. And so I'm going to give the service and I'm going to follow through. Let me give you another example. So this one was years ago now. And if I had an exclusivity clause, I would not have booked this wedding. It's a prominent family in the area here. And one of the daughters was getting married. Beautiful, beautiful taste. The wedding was lovely. But there was a family member, beloved family member, who is very talented. She is not very talented. And she was going to handle certain aspects. This was already decided in their minds. She was going to do the pews. She was going to do some stuff in the tent. She was going to do, I don't know, something else. So if I had an exclusivity clause, this prominent family in the area, I would have had to say, nope, sorry. I have to say no to what was probably one of the biggest weddings I had ever done at that point, because you're not meeting my exclusivity clause. Can't have your family member doing that stuff because it's going to reflect on my brand. I would have been insane literally insane to do something like that. To say to this prominent family with the biggest budget I had at that point, like I had never had somebody pay me $100 or maybe it was even $250 for the centerpieces. I had never had anybody come to me with that budget before. And was I going to walk away from that because it meant a lot to them to include a family member in the decor? Not me, not this girl, because I'm more focused on building my business than this fake, phony idea that if this person who's in the family does something that's not as good as I would do it, which is what happened, by the way, right? It was not what I would have done, that reflects poorly on me. It doesn't. You know why it doesn't? Because they are so excited to have this family member do these things. I bet everybody at that wedding knew what that family member did, right? Oh, she did the bows and she did this and she did that. You know what else I know? I know that she didn't actually make it to the ceremony because she was so busy doing all this other stuff. I know that for a fact. And then you know what else? I know that she changed the head table, this beautiful head table that we had done. She changed it to make it look so much more cheesy. But you know what? It's not about me. Not about me. I'm not going to go there and get into a fight with the aunt. Oh, I just revealed the family member was an aunt. I was trying to stick with family member. I wasn't going to go and argue with her. I wasn't going to tell her while she's setting up, this looks ridiculous, right? Because it's not my wedding and I didn't do those things. It's not about me. And this is a paycheck, okay? Again, not everybody's going to tell you that. They're going to talk more about how if this ends up on Instagram with your name, your life is over, right? No. You know, the tent company knew the family member was doing those things. Nobody who's important in regards to what my brand actually is, right? Like who I am, what I actually did. No one was going to think I did those things. It's not about me. And so I'm not worried about it. Okay? Yes, I still remember. Yes, I took a picture. Yes, I sent it over to the girl at the tent company and we talked about the size of these bows, right? In the future, right? I would probably, instead of just trusting that this family member has amazing taste, maybe get a little bit more input on what she actually was going to do, see if I could help. But again, not about me. All right. So I just want to, everybody who's new out there, who's, in this, you get swept up. We get swept up into what will people think and image. When image, right, matters so much less than what's real. What is real? And what's real is how your customers feel about you. What's real is how you treat people. And what's real is the fact that if you create a speed bump, you push back, you create a moment of problem for your customer unnecessarily because of your ego, it's harder for you to wow them on the wedding day. And I don't want you to have a harder time doing our job because our job's already really hard, you guys. It's so hard, right? To go from that one image on Pinterest to turn it into a inspiration board in a proposal and then turn it into real life orders, right? You got to turn it into an actual recipe. And then you have to actually create it and deliver it. It's hard, you guys. We don't also want the customer feeling suspicious of us, resentful of us, or like we care more about us than them. Okay? That's not what we want to do. That is not what we want to do. All right, designing women. So there is no point in having an exclusivity clause at all. Is that what you're saying? No, it's not what I'm saying. And I appreciate you asking that. So for me, I don't have an exclusivity clause because of a couple of things. One, I am like the pre-screener of the century, okay? That's a lot of what I teach in my Patreon training is how do we pre-qualify clients so we're not wasting time with clients who aren't already a good fit, right? that is one of the reasons why I don't need an exclusivity clause, because I've already determined that these are people who are not looking to DIY their life, right? They're really not. They're not looking to DIY their wedding. They want to hire someone who's going to do all the things, and that's me. Again, I don't have the exclusivity clause because of the stories I just told you, because I'm not going to turn away a great customer just because they want their aunt to make some bows for the church, right? I'm not gonna do that because I wanna be in business. 19 seasons I'm in business, right? Because I know when to not be a jerk, not to draw a line in the sand that's gonna backfire on me. So the other reason I don't have an exclusivity clause is because I set minimums. And so I know that they're not gonna fall below the minimum we agreed to. So what am I afraid of here, right? Like, what's the worst that's gonna happen? And because my clients are really very respectful of me and my work and what I do for them, and they really wouldn't bring something in without talking about it with me, point blank period. So I'm not worried about it. It's really, those are the reasons. And you can have the exclusivity clause. You can have it. You are welcome to have it. Like I said, I share why you might want to have it in my contract course, even though I myself don't have one. But here's the thing, you got to be ready to enforce it. And that's really why I don't have it, to be totally honest, because I am not going to get into a fight with you on your wedding day if there's, like I said, the acrylic box with the fake flowers. I am not going to die on that hill. Not on your wedding day. I'm not having an argument with you. I'm not going to do it. It doesn't matter. Again, I've been in business long enough that doesn't threaten me. I'm not worried about it. That's just how I feel about it. All right, I see another comment here. Iris and Berry Blooms, hey there. I have exclusivity, but I also say there are exceptions and to inquire. That's a great way to handle it. Certain things I don't mind, but large elements, maybe the arch flowers, etc., I do mind. But I think that goes along with having that minimum. Yes, I think so too. I think that's a really great way to put it, is like, I have minimums, I have rules, but I'm willing to discuss it with you. I think that's a beautiful way to handle it, because we do need to have rules in our business. I'm not saying that what you should do, by the way, is just sell anything, right? Like, here's an example of my branding line. And hi, Mikey, I see you there. One of the things I don't do is I don't do dyed blue orchids. Point blank, period. If you come to me with a dyed blue orchid bouquet, I will tell you that I don't do that. I decided that many years ago, and I stick to it. I don't want to do it. I hate them. They bum me out. I think they're ugly. I don't like how they transfer the blue dye into water, on and on and on. It's just not a thing I'm going to do. So is it because of my branding that I won't do it? No. It's because it doesn't make me happy. And because I have built a solid enough brand that I don't have to do work that doesn't make me happy. Period. Right? So that's really what it comes down to. If you want to build a good brand, building a good brand means you're working with customers that make you happy. That's what a real good brand is. Okay? It's not just about the money. It's not just about the marketing. It's truly about, if I have built a good brand, I'm going to be here 19 wedding seasons after I started my business. Oh, that's me. Again, I don't have 10,000 followers on Instagram. I don't focus all my attention on what everybody is thinking of me. What I focus on is my customers. How do I serve them well? How do I show up for them? How do I not disappoint them? How do I let them know that they are important to me from the beginning all the way to the end, so that they're not wondering about me. Is she going to show up on time? Do you think she really knows what I mean by harvest gold? Do you think she's going to remember the fill in the blank? I want them to not be thinking about me. I want them to not be thinking about me. I'm cracking myself up saying that, but it's really the truth. I want to be the easiest part of the wedding for them. That's how I feel. That's my brand, right? That's what I do. And how do I know that's my brand? Because you will see testimonials on my website that tell you all the time. Working with Alison was so easy and seamless. Working with Alison was a dream for a destination client. We only had one phone call and never met, and she delivered exactly what I wanted. That's my brand. So I can post anything I want on Instagram, my marketing, but it's not my brand. So that's what I just want y'all to know today. And I hope this didn't feel like a rant. I tried to keep it kind. I tried to keep it friendly. But I really just think newbies, you gotta be on the lookout for the idea that your branding is more important than your customer service, right? Serving clients well is what happens to serving clients well is what's going to serve you. Okay? Serving clients well is what's going to serve you. I even had somebody in the group, I think I even mentioned this in one of the live streams I did this month for newbies. Like, I shared, she said, she didn't send a picture. She sent flowers to a friend and she had a picture and posted the picture and everyone loves it and they want to order flowers, but I don't have a website yet, she said. You don't need a website if you've got paying customers, right? So please don't let things hold you back. Like your branding isn't there because you don't have a website. If you've got somebody with money who wants to give it to you, honey, take it, make something beautiful, post it on your Instagram. You're in business. And then when you sell enough, you can now afford the website, right? Once you have that stuff going, you can now build and build and build. But marketing is different than branding. And you cannot think that your branding, your marketing is really what you mean when you're saying branding, is more important than what your customer experiences with you. It's not going to keep you in business for a long time. It's really not. All right, I see a comment came through here. I removed this clause this year, had two huge weddings this year that both requested to make their own centerpiece. I was honest with my concerns and they were super understanding too. That's great. Thank you, valuable information. You're so welcome. So helpful as always. Thank you. You're welcome. Every STEM. Oh, hey there, Luann. Priority number 1, because those happy clients will send you more clients. Yes, that is branding. Your customers sending you other customers. That's really what branding is. Your customers that can't help but tell people what a good experience they had with you. That's your brand. By the way, you guys, if you're not following Every STEM yet, make sure to check them out. She's got something she's dropping this week. It's a brand new app to help you write recipes. It's not proposals. It's not client facing. It's going to help you keep your profit margins in check, which is like my number one favorite thing. So I'm a big fan of this new app coming out. So I can't wait for you guys to see it. So follow Every STEM. Make sure that whatever you do moving forward from here, after listening to me vent, thank you, is focused on customer service. Because that's a piece that is falling away. And I'll just say this to end. Years ago in my Facebook group, there was an old florist. I would even say he was a little crotchety, to be honest. He was kind of cranky. But he said to me, he made a comment once to me privately, like, these people in your group, and he was right, by the way. These people in your group, they have no respect for the customers. They talk so negatively about the customers. It is just, I think he was basically disgusted, is really the truth. And while I obviously understand why people talk about customers in certain ways from time to time, he is right. He was right. And I'm just getting crotchety. I'm willing to admit it. It's messed up to lose track of the idea that serving the client is the number one goal. If you lose track of that, you're losing everything. Then you hate your business. You hate your life. There's no app that's going to make you happy. There's no amount of likes on your Instagram post that's going to make you happy because you don't love the customer. So you got to fall in love with serving your customers. And that's how you get a good brand. By the way, it's also going to help your marketing because it's going to help drive the way you talk to people, right? The way that you're serving them. So as you grow your business, again, newbie or an oldie but goodie, just love your customers more. That's really what I want to put out there. Love your customers more. And if you want to have that exclusivity clause, right, you can do it. But always know your why and your intention. And that's something that, again, there's no like way to pole vault to good branding. There just isn't. You have to build. And yes, there are some people who all of a sudden, because everyone's got somebody, maybe not everyone, but a lot of people, you might have somebody in your market who's newer than you, less experienced, but somehow, has more likes and seems to have a better brand. If you don't know what's going on behind the scenes, right? They could be like that story of Preston Bailey where they have no money. They got the likes. They're on Oprah, but they can't pay their bills. So eyes on your own paper. Worry about your own business. Make sure that you're turning a profit. That's the number one thing. All right, here's what I really want to do to wrap this up, because there's really 4 main pillars. I'm always thinking in business, like, what is it that I do? What is it that I teach? How do I serve people, right? So there's really 4 main pillars that you need to focus on in your floral business. You've got the floral design, right? Flower care, floral design, the stuff that you create. This is your product, right? Because we do sell a product. I know we like to think that all we do is like create magic, but we're actually like selling a product. And again, I've already recommended the podcast on the Flower Podcast with Sean Lowe, but that's really what he makes this beautiful point of: nobody needs what you're selling. Oof, ouch. But also, wow, yay, yes. So you're selling something that is not, I am only buying this because I need it, right? They're buying it because they want it. They're buying it because they want it from you. It is an honor to be chosen. You are the chosen one. You must honor it. I said that in a video shoot that I was doing years ago, and it is the truth. I still feel that way. You are the chosen one. Honor that. Do not take for granted that someone picked you to do their wedding flowers, okay? Now I'm starting to scold again. Just stop it. Just stop it. You're special. You've been chosen. Then we have a lot of work to do. But so there's really the 4 pillars. Is your design, very important, right? You have to have a design style that attracts people. Then what we also need to do is know how we turn a profit. If we don't have a profitable business, we're not going to be in business very long. Or we may be in business for a long time and be broke at the end of it, okay? So you have to turn a profit. Then you have to know how to book clients, how to close the sale. So that's your proposal, your phone voice, the way you take orders, the way you sell what you do. That's a whole nother aspect of what you need to know how to do. Then there's the brand building, the marketing, the website, that actually delivering, following through on your promises. All of that stuff comes with it too. So these are like the 4 pillars that you build your business on. So if you know how to design, you know how to turn a profit, you know how to talk to clients, you know how to close a sale, and you know how to represent your brand. You know how to show up. Again, blogging, nobody likes to hear it. I'll scold you on that another time. Tons of resources over on my website at realflowerbusiness.com. By the way, if you need tips on any of these 4 pillars, it's what I teach over there. So if you have these 4 things solidly, you can build your business, and then you can start to build a business that you really do love, where you choose the type of work you want to do and you get clients who really appreciate you. That's the dream, right? That's the dream. And it's possible. This is what I've done in my business, right? I took it from part-time to full-time to how do I get customers who want to spend more than $1,500, or how do I get customers who want to spend more than $5,000, to, wow, my calendar is fully booked. I love all of these customers. I am so excited for each of these events. That's the ideal. That's what I want for you. I want you to love your business. I don't want you to run a business that you hate. That's no fun for anybody. Not fun for you, not fun for your family, not fun for your customers. Not fun for your community, because then you're not doing anything fun, right? You're just like, these customers, you know what? Everybody here is so cheap. Maybe, an attitude change, attitude adjustment, right? is all it takes to get you into a new groove where your brand, what you deliver, is really, really great. And people are talking about how great your service is and what you deliver, right? That's what we really, really want. So, sorry, I missed a couple of comments here. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Hey, Abby. OMG, I actually caught you live. That never happens. Love you. I love you too, Abby. Thanks so much for tuning in. So glad you caught me. All right, so I may come back for more newbie tips. If you have questions for me, let me know, and then I'll come back and answer more newbie tips for you. But I appreciate you listening to my branding rant today. It means a lot to me because this is really something that's been stuck in my craw. So yeah, maybe I really do. I just file me in the column with the crotchety florist I was talking about. Love your customers, build a good brand, deliver good stuff, and I will see you next time. Keep doing beautiful work. Again, thanks so much for tuning in. And if you have questions for me, let me know. And I guess I should just be like, share this. Share this video. Share the newbie tips with your friends who, even if they're not newbies, might enjoy some of my newbie series. All right. Thanks so much for being here. I'll see you next time. Bye.